Yo,
Yo,
we back. Welcome to another episode of Straight Up R&D or segment.
segment number 2.
Yeah, segment number 2, one of our emergency episodes. We feel like we had to come on here and just discuss a certain topic with y'all real quick.
Of course. So this is like a hot topic. We have to jump up, get everything together, hop in the studio, and pump this one out, man.
Yeah, pump this one out. So we're gonna get to see y'all quickly, but yeah. Well, before we get started, I'm your co-host D,
And I'm Rich.
and welcome to Straight Up R&D. You already know how we go. We don't give a fuck about your opinions, but we appreciate the support.
And all the opinions are based on motherfucking facts.
Yes. So,
Okay.
As you guys know from the title of the video, Eric Adams appeared on The Breakfast Club today,
Yo.
and that was a great interview. It was actually a really good interview. I advise everybody to go and watch it because what I did appreciate from the interview, The Breakfast Club had a guest on there who was not catering or backing down from Eric Adams. Mm-hmm. She came on there. I wish I remember her name, but she came on there, challenged him on his thoughts, and wanted to know like what he's doing because shit, basically New York in a state of emergency.
Oh yeah. And I don't really give The Breakfast Club that much credit on their videos as of late because most of the time it's on some BS. Like they joking around, talking about hot sauce barbecues and all of this nonsense and blah 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 blah. But lately they've been changing their tune on a lot of stuff.
And I think they have to, man. Like I think they have to change their tune because I stopped watching The Breakfast Club for a while because it got too unserious.
Yeah,
It's
it was
like,
too much
all right,
jokes.
it was, and again, I kind of stepped away from rap a little bit. So you having so many rappers coming on, uneducated motherfuckers talking about, I don't even know.
Shit
God.
they got no business talking about.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And man, I was just about to say something. I want to stick on this Eric Adams thing. But,
we could talk about that later. But yeah, Eric Adams. So he goes on the show and explain a little bit more about the nice confrontation that was on the pod.
Goes in the show, and I could tell that the Breakfast Club was prepared to ask him, questions about congestion pricing, the migrant crisis, policing, this, and basically how we just don't feel safe in New York City. But what I did not like, they let him control the conversation. Mm-hmm. I think they let him control the conversation. He was able to bail himself out from answering some questions.
And he avoided some.
He definitely avoided some questions. And, bro, I think they asked him, the girl asked him a question about, basically just about, like, his rhetoric on the migrant crisis. Next thing you know, he's talking about Rikers Island jail reform. I'm like, what the fuck? That had nothing to do with it. What she just asked. But, there's some things I agreed with, some things I disagreed with, and some things I was just like, that's just a bold-faced lie. Mm-hmm. Starting with the migrant crisis, we can start there.
All right.
Basically, Eric Adams says he's never invited New Yorkers. I'm sorry, he never invited the migrants to New York.
Lie.
There's video evidence of him and Governor Hochul saying, come to New York. We welcome you, blah, blah, blah.
We are a sanctuary city.
Exactly. But now they're here. Next thing you know, you want to change your tune. Like, yeah, we don't want them. We got to kick them out.
I don't know what to do. It's the law. It's the law. I can't turn them back. I can't. No. That's not what you said at the town hall. You said, New York is a sanctuary city. We're not going to turn you back. You're more than welcome to come. We're going to take care of you, feed you, and protect you. You and Hochul said both of those words. And you backed Hochul.
Yep, and you backed Hochul. And now you see like how, again, I put more of the blame on the president, but at the same time, you did invite them. And then we talked off air about this, like, all right, we'll cut you some slack in what you inherited when you became mayor.
Right.
And he did say, like, how he can't just kick them out the city because it's illegal. And what else he was saying was illegal, how you can't deport them.
Yeah, they have the right to shelter law here. So, I mean, here's my take. Like, Eric Adams, like, I'm not saying he's the best mayor, and I'm not saying, he's like the worst thing that ever happened to New York. I mean, yes, what we're seeing is horrible because he inherited a lot of horrible things. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to cut him some slack. I didn't know about him visiting Rikers Island. I didn't know about him, going up to the Burger King, talking to those homeless people. That were not even selling drugs, because that was a bull-faced lie article, right? I didn't know that, because if you're going on, New York Times, all these credible websites, CNN and all them stuff, and they're saying that, it's like, okay, this is the news that's being reported from multiple sources, not just one, but multiple sources are saying that. And then it turns out that's not the truth. He's not talking to drug dealers and doing all of that stuff. Right. But I cut him some slack in those areas where I'm like, okay, he is doing stuff, right? But he's letting his actions, his good deeds, overshadow all the negative stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're making New Yorkers feel that the city is in shambles. We got the congestion pricing. You didn't even fight for that. You didn't even publicly come out and say New Yorkers don't want this. New Yorkers don't, regardless of what the state and MTA is doing. You have to come out and say it. So
how you gonna blame this on the MTA?
You can't just sit around and say, well, it's the law and that's what they did, so I'm just not gonna say. No, you share your opinion. New York is, the poverty line is increasing every year. You could be making $80K and be poor.
And he already addresses, he kind of said on the Breakfast Club too, this is going to be a problem for poor New Yorkers. Like Charlamagne was saying, people who are struggling financially, we already can't afford any more hits. Now, you're saying for people who have to go to work, Eric Adams even said this on himself, what if you have cancer treatment to the city? Now you have to pay to go get treatment for a disease that's already life-threatening.
That you had no way of avoiding. You have cancer is cancer. Anybody can get it.
Yeah,
right?
And that was his example. And it's just come on. It's New Yorkers didn't want this shit. And he said, look, congestion is the problem, but you think New Yorkers paying a $15 fee, and I think he's $2.50 for Uber and $1.50 for yellow cabs. Whatever the price is, you think that is going to solve congestion? And New Yorkers don't even feel safe in the subways?
In the subway.
So it's again, and I will say this, though. This interview, he could be lying. But he's not as far left as I thought he was. He's I think with his mind, he's kind of struggling between the left and independent, because I did like his stance on police. Well, he is a former policeman. Mm-hmm. The girl on the show, again, I just don't know why some people do this. They kind of try to talk down on the police officers. Mm-hmm. I don't know about any of y'all. Again, I feel safe when I see police. Literally, I do. If I'm just going around somewhere, especially if it's a little sketchy area and I see a cop over there, it's all right. If something were to happen, at least a cop is there to react quickly. Quicker
than having to call after the fact.
Right, exactly. So she was basically saying, oh, you having more, it's contradictory what you're saying, because you're having more police in the subways, but you're saying crime is down. So why are more police in the subway? Black and brown people don't feel safe when police are around. I'm like, who?
Who said that? Who said that? And she said she lived in Flatbush.
Yeah, and she lived in Flatbush.
So I'm like, whoa, I don't know where part of Flatbush. You probably downtown Brooklyn or something. I don't know. But when I see cops walking around, I feel safer. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be straight up. I feel safer. I feel okay, they're at least patrolling, at least looking around to see any suspicious activities. They were talking about a kid that got shot.
Yeah.
And it's okay, well, if there was more police presence, do you think that kid would be alive today?
So exactly. Possible. So the answer is not less police. So I feel like she tried to trap him in a way, because she was like, well, you're saying we're safer, but there's more police in the subway. But he was basically saying, look, people said they want to feel safe. So, of course, I'm going to put more police in the subway, which I think should be done either way, because the subway before Merrick Adams came into office, was dangerous. Just homeless people sleeping in there. Yeah. You go in there late at night, you don't know what's going to be happening in the subway. And there was, before, like no type of security. There would be certain train stations.
The ones in Manhattan or the main big ones like at Atlantic.
Yeah.
They'll have the cops there, but at Church Ave, at Winthrop, at Nevin Street, at Franklin, they ain't there.
They're not there. So the fact that he's saying like, all right, we're going to put more police in the train stations to, make New Yorkers feel safer, I agreed with. It's like, I agree. It's like, all right. And then, again, I had to remind myself, like, he is a former police officer. So he's going to, like, back the blue, which I think is a plus on his side. So it's like that girl was kind of say, like, hey, what you doing about the police? People don't feel safe around the police. But then it's like, why y'all complaining about crime and then in the same breath saying we don't want police? I really don't understand.
And to her own detriment, she pointed out that New York City has the largest police force in the globe, in the world. So it's like we have a lot of cops, right? And as it is, you're telling me people don't feel safe around the cops.
They don't feel safe around the cops.
How is that? And then we're talking about bringing more police presence in the subway and patrolling on the streets. That is supposed to deter crime.
Exactly.
How do you deter crime with no cops around?
And I don't understand these far left people. They just want motherfuckers to be running around here doing whatever they want. And then a thing about it's like, all right, I agree with like prison reform and jail reform, but you can't say we need to release the criminals and have less cops. Again, we could probably talk about this on a long form episode about the shooting of the cop. That was, I can't remember his name. Well, I remember his name on the episode. But like how he was gunned down by some guy with a long rap sheet.
Yup.
It's like these are the people you're advocating for to come out of jail, but then say we need less cops in the streets because black and brown people feel unsafe. Cops not even safe. And they don't want to protect the community. So, again, it's like, look, the prison reform conversation, we could step into that for a little bit. And, it's funny, the way that conversation even came about, because he was deflecting or trying to get away from it. It was like, how the fuck we get to Rikers Island?
Yeah.
How we get to Rikers Island? It's like, look, this is my sense on it. I do think it's a good thing that he's saying we should put programs in for people who's going to jail or in prison so they have a good way to transition to society. Because I do think that's a big problem with people who go to jail. I would say around 85% of people who go to jail and go to prison have a wake-up call and say, like, look, I want to go out here and do good. I don't want to come back here. Right? They're saying, I don't want to come back here. So I think it's a good thing to put these programs in place to show them like how they could be a contributing member of society. Right. But it's just at the same time, it's like, bro, I don't want to hear this shit right now. It's like, how much shit is going on outside, of those prison walls right now? Like, New York is in shambles. It's like, it's cool, that's what you're doing. I feel that's something that should be a topic of discussion when we don't have the migrant crisis going on. When crime is down, or, when people, congestion, I feel like that's a conversation for another day. But it's like, I don't want to hear about what you're doing for people that's locked up and, how you're helping them come back into society. Like, I think it's good work, but this is not what New Yorkers want to hear right now.
That's so true. I mean, here are the things that I agree from that interview on the Breakfast Club with Eric Adams. I agree with him on the Rikers Island, cutting some of those programs that he found to not be beneficial to the people. Going to the jail to the jail and talking to them, talking with the inmates on what do you guys need, what is gonna help you. Like, I respect that rather than hearing from like, some external study person or whatever. He went there himself. He asked the people them himself. He was in Rikers and locked up when he was younger as well. So he has some experience with that. Right. So I give him credit on that. I give him credit on saying, NYPD does make people feel better when they see them around. Granted, I feel better when I see the cops walking around.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I sometimes I don't like when they go up and harass people. Right. I don't like that. But I like the fact, hey, I'm walking around my neighborhood. It's late. I see a cop on the corner over there. Cool. I don't gotta worry about nobody running up on me and stabbing me or robbing me or anything.
Exactly.
Right? I should have the freedom to walk any street I want in this country because I'm free.
Exactly.
Okay. Second, I agree with him on allowing the migrants to work. Yeah. If we're going to accept them to come into this city, we should at least make them work. Because he was saying, if they're here and they're not doing anything, what they're going to do? Resort to crime. Why? Because they want to make money. Let them work. Establish a plan to say, okay, you could work here for X amount of years, but you can't vote in our elections. You can't, there's restrictions to what you can do. He needs, if you would come up with a plan like that, I dig it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I dig it. Now, here are the things I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him that when the whole migrant crisis statement came out, he didn't back it up and say, yes, he did say that, that this is a sanctuary city. He folded on that. Second, he didn't bend the rules of the law. He's more focused on, this and this and this will, if I send them back, that's breaking the law. Or if I don't accept them, it's breaking the law. We have the right to shelter law, and this, and we have to do this, and we have to do it. If I do this, X, Y, and Z, I'm breaking the law. Bro, nobody's asking you to break the law, but bend the law.
Exactly.
Find the loophole.
Exactly.
When you trying to get something passed, your ass will go and find different ways, right? You'll find loopholes to get it passed for something that you want, right? But when it's affecting the city, and you're like, oh, that's the law. That's what they say. I can't do nothing else. Bend the law and make it happen. Say, you know what? The law says we can shelter them for 60 days, 30 days. Shelter them for that amount of time. Put them asses on the bus and send them back down to Texas. Okay? Until... all right. And it's like, okay, it'll be that. Like...
Be a back and forth game.
Being back and forth game. It's unfortunate to put the people through that situation. However, you have to put New Yorkers first. And that's my third thing I disagree with him. He's not putting New Yorkers first. These people are coming in here, doing whatever the hell they want, increasing crime. They had a whole friggin' gang ring that they just caught the guy and locked him up. But it's like, why did things have to get to that point?
And my thing is too, is like, all right. I think the limit is 30 days for housing that he implemented, right? The rule. It's like, you have 30 days. They said in the Breakfast Club.
And it's different for like single, for men, and then for women with children.
They can reapply. So it's like, okay, so now say if you're a man, you have 30 days. Mayor Adams said like there's basically a program or something of that sort to help them transition into like New York, into society. But I'm like, come on, my man. How many of them here are here? You think all of them is about to just find housing within a reasonable time frame in New York City?
In New York, which is
what do you think they're about to
expensive. Do? They're going to resort to crime and drugs.
They're going to resort to crime. So crime is about to increase so much. Once a lot of these motherfuckers get out that housing, and then they're going to be getting on the streets, it's going to be hell up in here, bro. It's going to be hell. Like I don't even think we saw the height of this migrant crisis yet. Because they're being babied right now.
Listen, when the summertime comes, when it's scorching hot outside and everybody is coming outside and the AC in them buildings don't work and this, that, and the third, and the kids want to play and people want to drink outside and listen to music and party, wait for that to happen.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. So I'm like, we haven't even seen the height of this migrant crisis yet. Once New York like basically say like, all right, your time is up, go find your own house and go find your work. Y'all coddled them and babied them for so long, they felt like they didn't have the need to work for anything. These motherfuckers are going to be running up on people, causing more crime. And man, you know what I even respect about some of the, I don't know if they're legal or not, but like, you go to the Home Depot parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Them people at least trying to find some honest work. They're like, look, I may not have my papers or I may not have this, but I got some working hands and I could do whatever. They trying. And then they could like, get some money doing that. And then eventually who knows what they could achieve else in life. Mm-hmm. They just coddle these motherfuckers, bro. Coddle them. And I want to see what's going to happen in the future. We're going to see a lot more news reports about man from Venezuela doing this and that. Like, just wait and see. And then another lie that he was caught up in on the Breakfast Club was I think it was DJ Envy who said his child got kicked out of school because they had to house some of the migrants in his child's school. And then Eric Adams was like, well, thank goodness we have schools that can house them. This is how we always responded to crisis in the past.
We have remote learning and this, that, and the third.
But then the lady brought it before, like, well, before you was just saying you don't like remote learning.
Exactly. You ended remote learning.
You ended remote learning because you believe children should be socializing with each other and learn in the classrooms. But now you're taking that away from them. So again, you're not putting New Yorkers first. There is no way you should be putting children's education beneath these migrants. Like, if you were truly putting New Yorkers first, like, you would have been like, listen, we already got these hotels for y'all. We're giving y'all these pre-packed lunches and debit cards. I can't risk the education of the students too. But he got caught up in some lies, man. I'm just
he dusted that off. He kind of dodged it. He didn't really expand on it. I'm like, bro, own up to your mistakes. Own up to, where you were wrong and acknowledge it. New Yorkers want transparency. That's what we want. We don't want you to, and I did this and I did this. Yes, we acknowledge your accomplishments, but here's what's bothering us. This is what's bothering us. This migrant crisis, this congestion pricing, the unsafeness of the subways. This is what's bothering us. You're forcing us to go on the subway, but it's not safe.
It's not safe.
It's not safe.
And historically, it hasn't even been that safe. Like I said, I'm sure you can find some goddamn graph and crime was down in the subways at this point, but it has not ever been completely safe where you're not looking over your shoulder and you see homeless people. Man, I've been on a train. I see a homeless man pissing on the train and I had to get up. I'm like, what the fuck going on here, bro?
I remember one of the times I went on the train, there was like shit smudged on the seats.
Yeah.
I'm like, I had to go on another cart. I was like, what the hell, bro? But it's like, that cart was empty for a reason.
And I'm just like, you're going to push more people in the train station. And I feel like crime could go up from just having more bodies in the subway. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's going to be wild. And I think, well, this is a whole nother thing, but I think a lot of people going to be pushing for remote work from their jobs.
Yeah, and he canceled that for all city workers. So all city workers have to go into work. And it's like, and then we didn't even start talking about the budget cuts. They didn't even mention that on the show. So it's like, you're cutting certain services here and there. NYPD and FDNY, they all have to pay this congestion tolls. I was looking into it. Only city vehicles, meaning obviously, a fire chief truck or a fire ambulance.
They're the public buses.
Yeah, the public buses. Of course, there's going to be exempt. That's a part of the damn city. Why would they pay? But come on now. We are the working class. We make New York City move.
Exactly.
All right?
And we were just
you got the
punished.
billionaires that own the businesses, and you got the people who work in those businesses. If we can't make the ends meet, then, hey, something's got to give.
And they're estimating to get $1 billion a year from the congestion pricing. And they're going to reinvest that into the city. I'm like,
allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And this whole climate bull crap is all just bullshit. I don't believe in this air pollution nonsense. I don't believe it. I don't. If you a better thing would say, let's say, okay, well, we're just gonna encourage more electric vehicles and more electric forms of transportation or electric bikes and all this other stuff. Like, don't tell people, oh, it's gonna make the air cleaner in the business district.
And I'm just like,
where
bro,
people only go there for work and bring their ass home.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
What sense does that make?
I don't think it makes a lot of sense either. And this is some of the policies that people should be waking up to. Like, bro, you don't want to vote for this shit, bro.
Nah.
You don't want to vote for this shit, bro. And I'm just like,
if he's not careful enough, New York City's gonna be like Cali. It's gonna be like San Francisco.
And he was on the show like, I do not want New York City to be like San Francisco.
But
I'm like, look what you doing to the goddamn people of New York. Every second, they gotta pay for something.
Something gotta pay. Something went up. Property tax went up. Taxes went up. Oh, you gotta pay for this. Gotta pay for that. Congestion pricing this. Gas is expensive. Like, what? And the craziest part is, just wait until the congestion pricing go in effect. I think it's going in effect in June.
Yeah.
Wait for it to go in effect now. Then you're gonna dramatically see food and everything get expensive off the rip. It ain't gonna be no. Oh, this is due to inflation. No, this is due. To congestion pricing. Strictly congestion pricing.
Strictly congestion pricing, bro.
And Charlamagne made a good point. He's like, yo, what if you live in Jersey and or you're a tourist or you're visiting from another state, you gotta pay the Holland Tunnel to get in. Mm-hmm. The Holland Tunnel drops you where? Right down where the congestion zone is. Exactly. So you're paying $17 to pay another $15 just to get to New York.
Yeah, because DJ Envy and Charlamagne, they live in Jersey. So Envy was like, yeah, you know, a lot of people who work in New York don't live in the city because it's too expensive. So they commute from Jersey to go to work. And now you're saying they got to pay the Holland Tunnel or the price to come into the city. And then they got to pay the congestion pricing. It's like, it's too much.
And not only that, you know it's going to expand to the other boroughs.
Oh, it's going to expand to the other boroughs, and I'm kind of interested to see what other states want to take this up to.
I'll tell you right now, Florida ain't going to do it.
Florida not doing. Man, they got Texas a rock star governor over there, bro. He's quick.
You know what's crazy? He signed that right to shelter law over there too.
One time.
I was like, he's like, we are not gonna be like New York. I was like, yo, if only we had a governor like that, a no bullshit governor, you know, a common sense governor.
Oh my God.
Like New York would have been. I would have been proud to say, yo,
bro. The way I see how quickly he's reacting, I'm like, Hochul has the power to do it. Bro, like, he sees bullshit one time, new bill signed.
Boom. Like, he was like, dude. I was like, shit.
He like, nah, that ain't happening over here. And I'm just like...
Yo.
And I'm just like, Hochul, like, what are you doing, bro? Bro, I actually even saw online somebody who was supporting squatters' rights. So the whole point of this person's conversation, main point of his conversation was, yeah, we need squatters' rights so we don't have landlords illegally kick us out and legally evict us. I'm like, how often does that shit happen, bro?
And the fact that he's saying legally.
Yeah, legally. And then I'm like, well, if you have a lease, that's a legal document, and you can show paper trail of you paying your bills like utilities, you'll be fine. I'm just like, people always want to go to the extreme with some of these laws. Like, there was no way you could defend somebody coming into your home, see if you're on vacation for a month or like whatever. There's no way you could possibly defend somebody coming to your home, stay there, and have automatic rights. It's like, I'm like, there's really some delusional, stupid people out here, bro.
That's crazy.
Not really in the comments defending squatters' rights. I'm like, come on, yo. And I'm just like, the reason Hochul is probably not defending this, bro, they just want us to just be so dependent on them.
Yeah.
And they just trying to take away our rights. Like, New York don't want you to have an investor, capitalist bone in your body.
Nope. They don't want you to they don't want you to be self-made.
At all.
They want you to rely on them. They want you to struggle. And it's a damn shame. So, New Yorkers, please pay attention to what's going on around you. Don't be sitting on a train with your headphones on thinking...
Shit, for real, that's dead.
Yo, be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what all these laws that's passing. And, like, speak up. Y'all need to speak up. Like, I just feel like y'all just going along with the flow. And then when it gets bad, then you want to complain. Like, it's happening in real time. And you guys are not complaining, protesting. Like... Yeah, like I watched some of the hearings for the MTA when they were voting for congestion pricing. The only people that was really out there championing and arguing was the taxi drivers.
Yeah, it was the taxi
I'm like,
drivers.
They the ones that's driving your bum asses around the whole damn city. And they the ones that's saying they don't want to pass that bill on pass the money on to their customers. They're the ones that's fighting for you. And you motherfuckers are gonna go in the same damn Uber, take the same damn yellow cab, pay $30 to go 5 blocks, and then complain how expensive it is after the fact.
And on the board that voted for congested pricing, only one person voted against it.
One.
And he gave his stance. I was like, yo, congrats, man. Because he basically saying what we saying now. Like, this is going to put New Yorkers in a hole. It's not fair to the citizens.
And you know what's going to happen is going to put us in a hole, and then they're going to blame it on something else. They're going to say, oh, it's not because of congestion pricing. It's because of this, and it's because of that. They're going to go all the way around, do their best to go around the fact that congestion pricing made shit worse for the city. You add $15, is our pay going up by $15? No, nothing is going up except the cost of living. Mm-hmm. Our money, it's like you make this amount and every year it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until the point it's just like we are forced to leave.
We are forced to leave, bro. You own a home, property taxes high as shit. And it just keep going up and up.
Yeah, you rent out, you try to, buy $1 million house with 3 floors and rent them out to make money, but then they make the renters have more rights than you. So when it's time to pay your mortgage on that $1 million house, you're over here in legal battles and having legal money trouble because you're going back and forth with somebody who decided not to pay their rent.
Yeah, and you know what annoys me about that too? It's like, all right, say, use your example, you got that $1 million home with 3 floors. They could just keep raising the property taxes, bro. And then the landlord is forced to raise rent to cover, those property taxes. And then, the tenant's going to be like, oh, you greedy scumbag. Oh, I'm not paying anything. And then they could take you to court and they're like, yeah, you can't be raising the rent so high. It's like, then don't raise my goddamn property taxes this high.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an endless game. And definitely, like I said, check out the Breakfast Club interview. Yeah. And let us know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Eric Adams, stood his ground? Do you think he, sounded like a person that's for the New Yorkers? Or, did the Breakfast Club actually do a good job? I mean, this was, quite frankly, one of their best interviews that was, productive. But, again, sound off in the comments. Like and subscribe. Share. Check out all the shorts.
Yeah.
And, I'm signing out. This was Rich, and I'm signing out.
All right, D, signing out. See y'all on the next episode.
Yep. Later.
Later, y'all.